Now, as you can see, I have just clamped the handlebar in place and drilled some holes. And I tried to make it in the center of each plank, leaving this hole that will fasten the boss. We will do that later. And the reason why I am drilling the holes right now is to know where we can place these. So I'm thinking of placing them around here to make this is the fastening for the shield strap that we will use later. And we need to know where the holes are now. And my forged nails are pretty large and thick. As you can see, I have sharpened them, and I have also rounded off the corners a bit, because now that they are so thick, I don't want those sharp corners pressing so much on the wood. And that is also why I have changed the handle. You may notice that this is a pretty substantial handle, and this would be in the upper limit of what I consider appropriate for a Viking era shield. It's a bit large, and that is the only thing that I am not 100% satisfied with this shield. But this is due to the fact that I used a very high concentrated hide glue, and I used rawhide from an ox, and not from like a goat or something that a lot of people use. So my shield has warped quite a bit in that direction. So to accommodate for the warping and the extremely large nails, I had to go with a bigger handle. So as you can see here, I have made a sort of fastening device thing for the shield strap that will be on the handle. So here I've just taken some copper wire and flattened it out by actually not even using an anvil. I put it on the hammer of an axe and then hammered it, because copper is very soft. It's a soft metal, and you can work it cold, and you don't even have to strike as hard. And this is just a brass pin. So I have made 2 of these, and as you can see, they are pretty small and thin, but this is what I could get a hold of. In historical examples, this kind of design was used. Some used iron though, but I need to finish the shield soon, so I can't really wait. But the total weight of the shield will only be around 3 kilograms, so each of these will only have to hold 1.5 kilogram, and I think it will. So now we are going to apply these, and I have already done it on one side, as you can see here. So what we are going to do is we're going to use this little hole here that is in between two larger for the nails. And first of all, we are going to make a small groove, just so that the copper wire doesn't protrude in this way, because this side will face the shield. So we do not want to have the copper wire as a bump there, so to speak. So that's why we are making these grooves. And here I am using a wood carving tool. You can use a knife. Just be a little creative. Being creative is the number one thing when you're woodworking. Alright, so now we got it. And what we want to keep in mind is that we want this hole to be not to be too wide. We just want to be able to get these in there with a little bit of force. And be careful so you don't break it. Alright, I had to use a tool here. And then we can... And we do not want a lot of copper wire to protrude here, because copper wire is so weak that we want as little as possible to be able to... we don't want it to be able to twist off or anything. So as little as possible. And now you can see we have these two protruding. So we need to check where they are going to be cut off. We want them to be a little bit longer than the grooves. Just a bit. And you can be as careful as you want. Yeah. And then we bend. So it looks like this. So bend them both. And then we take a hammer and we clench it back into the wood. Let's just make sure that everything is snug and tight. And the shield will weigh about 3 kilos, and here I am applying about 15 kilos of pull, and it still looks great. And the reason why I know it's about 15 kilos is because I spend too much time at the gym. So here we go. Looks great, doesn't it? And you want to be able to carry your... I'm sorry about the mess, by the way. You want to be able to carry your shield on your back. There are descriptions in the sagas of people throwing their shields on their back in combat to, for instance, use their spears two-handed. So we know that was a thing. As I said earlier, these parts would probably have been iron, but I couldn't get iron. Let's just hope it holds. Alright, so the handlebar is ready to be fastened on the shield. I have my forged nails here, and the forged nails I had to sharpen and file down the corners, but it's mild steel, so that wasn't really a problem. So now what we are going to do is that we are going to apply some hide glue under the handlebar, and then put our nails in and bend them over and make like a little hook on the tip of the nails, sort of as we did on the strap fastening thing. And as you can see here right now, this is what I spoke of when I said that my shield has warped a bit, and that is one of the reasons of the quite substantial handle. So let's just take our hide glue. Well, trusty hide glue. And glue that stuff on. And as always, I like to apply a liberal amount of glue. You could say that is why my shield has warped so much, and you'd probably be right. But I like it. So I have already drilled the holes, both in the handlebar and the shield. I clamped it down and drilled the holes, just so I could see that they lined up properly. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take one of the nails and just gently put it in on the other side. And if we now clamp everything down, we should be able to get everything aligned properly and get our nails in. And you have to kind of move quickly when you're using hide glue, since it dries almost instantly. So sadly the video cut out, I'm not sure why. But as you can see, I have already clenched down some of the nails, and that is what we are doing now. So what you have to do is you have to take the points and just bend them down into little hooks, or in that case a rather large hook, and then you make sure that it is straight, and then you hammer it down into the handlebar again. And of course you can peen your nails, but I find this easier. Just make sure that it doesn't come out again on the other side. If it does, you have not given it enough space to work with, so you have to redo it a bit. So just make sure that you strike way down here and not up there. I will see if I can get this better again. So just do that with all of your nails. So now it is done. As you might be able to see on that nail and that nail, I didn't really get it totally flat, and that is all right. Just if the curvature is enough that it cannot slip down again. I will try to flatten it out, but I think it is important to be honest with all the mishaps that you've had in your work. And the most important thing is that you try to make it better. But even now, this is the first time that we can really get a feel of the shield. And let me tell you, this already feels like a delight. It feels, I don't know if I can position my cell phone so you can see properly, but already it feels, oh, it's light, it feels nimble, agile, it's everything that I wanted. So now we need to fasten the boss, and the boss will be fastened in almost the same way. We're going to use clenched nails, and we're going to do it properly. Alright. And now that we have drilled our holes for the shield boss, at least the holes where the boss connects with the handle, we can proceed with fastening the boss. And I would recommend first drilling the holes for the boss here and fastening it, and then using the boss as a guide to see where your next holes should be. So when the boss is here, you just drill and be happy. And what I can see here is that my boss isn't 100% even everywhere. So I'm not sure which holes I used to measure here, but we will just have to take some that seem to fit. And the boss is kind of a little bit domed, like this, and not this part, but the whole construction. So when you flatten it out, the holes will go a little bit longer out. But the first step, as always, if there are any little crevices that you can put hide glue in, then do so. Just slather it on there. And some of you may wonder, but Tobias, aren't you using too much hide glue? And to that I say nonsense. Nonsense. So now we have our glued up shield, we have our boss, and now we take a couple of more nails here. And just get it in there. So as you may see, I wasn't as careful as I should have been. So but with enough force, it works out. So now just make sure that you don't nail your shield to your workbench. Because that wouldn't be cool. Alright, that looks great. Let's just right, so you might need to even it out a bit. That is what I will do. And as before, you just clench over the nail by bending the tip into a little hook, like that. And when you do, make sure that the nail is completely in from the outside. And as you can see here, my nails are actually a bit too large for the boss. You can see it here. And that is not really a problem, because it won't rattle, since it is so unbelievably clenched on the underside. So it actually pulls it together just as much as the cap would. So now what we need to do is decide how many nails we want to use in the remaining holes. I think that I will, for pure aesthetic reasons, use all of mine, but I do think that there are too many holes on this shield boss, actually. Historically, you usually just had 4 nails, the ones connecting the handles and 2 more for just securing it, but I think it would look a little weird without it, without filling all the holes. So that's what we are going to do. And we're going to do it the same way. We're going to drill our holes here. We're going to put in nails. This time we can actually use shorter nails, since these are not going through the handle. The handle is going this way. So this just has to go through the boss here and the shield. So we are going to sharpen these up. Look at it, dreadful. And we're going to drill holes, hammer them in, and clench them over. Alright, so here we can see the final result. The end result is a Viking style round shield, or Viking era round shield, weighing in about 3 kilos. As you can see, it is used, it has clenched nails instead of peened nails, a matter of choice and taste for me. I like clenched nails better. It is around 85 centimeters, and as you can see right now it's unadorned, unpainted. The leather strap isn't on yet, but this is the shield in its almost complete form. This is the end of how to make the shield. Other videos could be how to paint your shield, but this is the end of how to make it. There are still some small things that I will do. As you can see, the terminals of the handlebar is protruding a bit here. I will smooth that out, and I will also make the angle a bit steeper in the curvature on the terminal, just to allow for being able to sweep your sword around the edge without getting caught up in the handlebar. All in all, this has been a very fun project, and it's been a fun thing to show you. So I would like to thank you viewers so much, and I hope I will see you again. Tack så mycket. Ha en bra dag.